It's the Group Chat Podcast bringing you another mini episode from our One Wire short collection of live broadcasts. Join host Casey Gisclair alongside Damien St. Pierre, Nick Hebert, Tommy Badeaux, and Murda as they break down what everyone's talking about. Don't miss out on the hottest unfiltered opinions that'll have your group chat blowing up.
Hey, good evening. We are live here. It is the Group Chat Podcast. Y'all ready for Mott's Mailbag? Let's thank our sponsors. The Law Office of Tommy J. Badeaux. We thank him so much. We got Performance Automotive and Accessories and
Martin's AC and Electrical.
We got a bunch of good questions, y'all.
Yes.
We thank everybody for y'all questions. We're going to try to attack them all.
It's a lot.
There's a bunch, but hey, man, it's all worthwhile. If we miss any of them, though, we're going to come back to them for sure.
A lot of Mott.
They got some good stuff in there.
Perfect. The first one comes from our guy Kuhn from Vacherie. 2019 LSU or 2001 Miami? LSU, come on, man.
2001 Miami. LSU doesn't have a damn rap song after them.
What are we doing? We're playing football?
If we're trying to win a game, LSU would beat their ass.
Okay, so jail
time,
it goes to Miami. Actual game of football
Tommy might have just quit.
Goes to the Tigers. That Miami team has a bunch of NFL legends, and they did a bunch of great stuff. But that quarterback position right now, seeing Joe Burrow doing what he's doing and knowing what he did in college, there's no doubt.
Who's the biggest LSU hater that you know besides for Tommy?
I would love to meet them.
I'll give you a hint. He does radio with me every day. So he told me the other day on the air, said there's never going to be another team like 2019 LSU. So there's even his goat.
What you know about me, boy? 2-0
Look, if we're rapping or we're committing crimes, that 01 Miami team destroys LSU.
The depth chart from 2001 Miami is unparalleled. Like Frank Gore was the third string running back. I think they had Portis, they had McGahee, Shockey with Greg Olson. It was just nuts.
Okay, but you could only play 11 at a time.
Doesn't matter.
Yes,
they were equipped in a game. If people were going to get injured and go down, there's no way.
Are you saying McGahee and Portis get hurt?
Who was the backups in LSU season?
They beat Boston College 18-7. That's not all that impressive. They beat Virginia Tech 26-24. LSU down the stretch was killing people. Now I get it. Miami was doing some of that too now. Syracuse 59-0. Washington 65-7. Down the stretch, LSU didn't have close games. Miami had a few. But on the flip side to that, Miami also had a freaking badass defense. They're not giving up points to anybody.
Isn't that your boy, DJ Williams, Vilma?
Yeah. Trying to find defensive stats. Dan Morgan?
I had to be.
Let's see if we could find some defensive stats here for Miami. Andrew Williams.
Antrell
Roll. Chris Campbell. Ed Reed. Golly, 9 interceptions. James Lewis, Jerome McDougal, James Scott, Jonathan Vilma, Vince Wilfork, Philip Buchanan, William Joseph.
I think Antrell Roll was like the nickelback that year.
Yeah, some dudes. They're all right. LSU would have beat them by 20, but yeah, they're all right.
In Madden, I played with Philip Buchanan to try to get him to be something so many times. I don't know why I was such a big Philip Buchanan fan.
Cody from the chat points out a great common denominator. Coach O, both of those teams.
100%. Yeah.
What quarterbacks were they facing?
Ken Dorsey.
So facing.
Facing. All right, good question. So they won a 2-point game against Virginia Tech. Let's see who Virginia Tech was. Let's see. Grant Knoll.
Yeah, there you go.
4 of 16 passing in the game, 4 interceptions, and you almost lost.
Well,
4 of 16, 81 yards, 4 interceptions, and you almost lost.
The sun shines on a dog's ass someday.
They gave up 24 carries, 160 yards to Kevin Jones that day. Yeah. So I'm going LSU. Damien's going LSU. Right. Tommy's going Miami for that question there. We go to our guy Taylor, who wants to know who's on the Mount Rushmore of all-time female athletes.
So I thought about
this.
The TARDIS. I thought about this a little bit. So just athletes in general, we're talking about. My first name is Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Whew, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the realm of track and field.
I got a newfound respect for track and field. Tremendous athletes.
Oh, God, yeah, ridiculous.
I'm going Lisa Leslie.
Jackie Joyner Kersey was going to be on mine because she's the heptathlon. If you're a decathlete or heptathlete, those are supposedly, they have to win all the events. They're the greatest athletes ever. So She won it multiple times. I was going to throw her up on there. I was thinking either Billie Jean King or Martina Navratilova, all renowned tennis players. I was going to try to throw a gymnastics person up there.
Simone Biles?
Or Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah. Guys, Serena's got to be on there, huh? Serena's.
I would probably say Serena Williams.
What about Mia Hamm, soccer legend?
Yeah, she was legit. Look, everybody, and I know that there was like no WNBA. Everybody that follows women's basketball very closely says that Cheryl Miller was probably one of the best women's basketball players to ever play. Just never had the chance to do the professional thing.
So you're looking at just quick Google search: Nadia Comaneci, Lindsey Vonn on the skiing world. Katie Ledecky was a stud.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Not sure who 8 is here. Ding Nang.
That's a ping pong.
Oh,
table tennis.
some I don't respect them.
That's a good question. I'd have Serena on there. I like y'all going with the track and field. So let me throw this extra wrinkle. 10 years from now, we're gonna all have gray beards, and most of us gonna be bald. I'm already there. Will Caitlin Clark be on this Mount Rushmore?
Absolutely.
I think so.
I think she's etching her stone right now.
Her run was not long enough, but Ronda Rousey was a really freaking big deal for a while.
She brought women's mixed martial arts to the forefront before a lot of. She was probably the catalyst for that to grow in what it was. Another one that's not on this list that needs some TLC is Shields.
Who's Clarissa Shields?
Clarissa Shields.
Is she better than Layla Ali?
Layla Ali.
She was booked.
Layla Ali is the Shadur Sanders of women's boxing.
Yeah, I've heard the same.
You know, it was another stud women's boxer,
Christy Martin,
who we're going to have on our show.
Come on,
she's
cool.
booked to come on before Victor's next fight. Ann Wolfe.
Okay.
Ann Wolfe was a tremendous female fighter, and prior to Hurricane Katrina, our boy Nick Abear and I went to a press conference in Biloxi, Mississippi, for her fight, which was Ann versus Man. She was supposed to fight a local Biloxi fighter, Bo Skipper. And
did it end up happening?
It did not. So Katrina happened between the press conference and the actual fight date.
Damn.
But I can tell you what, and Nick will attest to this. He'll let you know. So the press conference was really small. We probably had maybe 30 people in the press room. And I felt like Ann Wolfe was staring a hole through both of us. Like, we both ran out of there when that press conference was done.
Nick just said, I think she thought she was fighting me.
She had an old man trainer, and one of her portions of her training was her trainer would have this truck with a heavy bag in the back of it, and she would run and punch that heavy bag as the truck drove forward.
That sounds intense.
Put this in your Google machine. Ann Wolfe knocking out Vonda Ward, who Vonda Ward was a former Tennessee basketball player. I believe that was in Biloxi. Yeah, the Gulf Coast Coliseum. One of the most vicious knockouts in female boxing history.
Yeah, she could probably beat a man. She could definitely beat Nick at a press conference.
Definitely beat Bo Skipper.
Very quick. Clarissa Shields says she would beat Jake Paul. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, she's a monster. The size would be a little bit much.
The thing of it, like, and look, I love Clarissa Shields. I follow her on social media, but she doesn't get a whole lot of knockouts in the women's. Like, does she have enough power to hurt Jake Paul?
Probably not, but she's definitely a better boxer and she's tougher.
All right, fair enough. Pineapple and pizza, Tisa wants to know.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
I get to use my edit button. No, absolutely not.
It's not pizza at that point. It's fruit salad. I don't want that.
I don't mix fruit and meat.
I'm aboard that train, and that's why I didn't think pizza was going to win my bracket in the food challenge either.
Wait. Let me ask you this: so charcuterie boards, favorite of mine, are there fruit and meat in that? Like dried fruit?
Not always. Now there are some preserves, but there's also toast.
Did you say preserves?
That's what they call them. There's like little jars of stuff.
Tell me you live in Metairie without telling me.
No, I am just an adult Lunchable snob. So I know that every once in a while they'll have the nuts, the various almonds or candied pecans, which are great on charcuterie boards, by the way. But then they'll put preserves or marmalades and all this other kind.
We can't say jelly.
I don't mess with those. They're not. They don't call them jellies, just like they
Who's
don't.
They
chefs and restaurateurs.
Chefs, he says.
Here we
Get out every once in a while and stop hanging out in hotel lobbies is all I have to say.
If that entitles me to not ever say the word preserves, I'm there.
We all agree no pineapple on pizza, but boy, we have some disagreements on charcuterie boards. Our guy Kuhn from Vacherie again wants to know, could you, not necessarily you, but a normal guy, thank you for that, equipped with a baseball bat, beat up prime Shaq? Absolutely not.
No way.
No.
Because what's going to happen is Shaq's going to use his 17-foot arms and grab the bat from you and beat the living hell out of you.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly how it would go down. I swing, he catches it, and yeah, it probably hurts him a little bit catching it, but then guess what? He has the bat, and then I die.
So as a funny aside to this, when he originally posted it, he forgot the bat part. So I responded to him and said, hey, man, are we just going up against Shaq with a baseball? And he said, well, I never thought of it like that. It could be a David versus Goliath kind of thing. So if y'all want, maybe do a percentage chance of if you go into this fight, A, unequipped, B, baseball only, B, bat only, and D, baseball and bat. You think any of those combinations you have a chance to beat Prime Shaq?
Bro, I ain't fighting Shaq, dude. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this, because I added to that. If you had catcher's equipment on.
No.
Absolutely. You give me a bat and catcher's equipment, I have a snowball's chance in hell. You get one good
Give me a percentage.
7.
Dude, he's picking you up and dropping you in your head.
Bro, if you crow hop someone with a bat to the temple, I don't care how. Now, you could also take out a knee. Now, look, I know Shaq on his knees is probably still same height as prime me, and we could debate what prime me might ever be. But if I have an aluminum 30-something inch bat, catcher's equipment,
we didn't say aluminum. I went straight.
Okay, give me any bat with some catcher's equipment, I'm in. You know what? Give me no catcher's equipment against Draymond Green.
Now, I would love to see Shaq with a baseball bat against Draymond Green.
I'm going 73%. I'm knocking him out.
No.
Yep.
No. I've seen you play quarterback against Rommel. That would be the same beatdown.
There's just certain things we do not talk about.
I was rooting for you so hard, bro.
I wasn't rooting for me.
You just let me down.
I had 4 plays. 5, actually, because we got 1 first down.
So interception. A real quarterback would have had a 12-play drive.
I did not throw an interception. They didn't allow me to throw the ball. Let's not bring up
pick any quarterback to start a franchise within their prime, but the pool is from any retired quarterback only. So we're not going Mahomes and all that. This is from John from Cutoff. It's got to be Tom Brady, right? I mean, he's the best quarterback of all time. I'm going Tom Brady.
I'm just going to go, just so we don't agree and mod it, I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
All right, yeah, fair. You're going with Danny Werfel, Jesse Palmer.
In their prime, give me John Elway.
All right,
That's a solid selection.
Fair enough. If Peyton Manning had all those Tom Brady defenses, he would have won how many championships?
You know what? Give me, I'll take Peyton Manning because I think
if a Manning homer.
I don't understand why you think they don't like Louisiana when they throw their camp literally in Thibodeau every year, and before that it was in Hammond.
We'll see next year when the Saints have the first pick and Art stays at Texas. We'll revisit this argument.
Okay, fair enough.
Revisit this argument.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going Manning or Elway. Yeah, either one.
Favorite 1990s forgotten NBA team, also from John of Cutoff. I was a mark for the Jazz, and I would always want them to beat the Bulls, and they never did. I could argue that some of those Pacer teams were actually the second best team in the NBA some of those years. They just would get and wouldn't make it to the finals.
So with me, and it's because it's teetering late 90s into 2000s, the Kings.
They were so good.
With White Chocolate and Weber, and I don't think Brad Miller really became a key cog in their wheel until the 2000s. But
their center was Divock, right?
Yep.
Yes, but they had Brad Miller.
Peja.
Doug Christie. So either them or Run TMC with Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen, Spreewell, those run and gun Warriors teams.
Hell yeah.
That's some solid teams. I'm going to go with the mid-90s Knicks. I feel like I didn't respect them enough at the time because I was such a Jordan guy. But looking back, That's some of the toughest teams that's ever graced the floor.
It's crazy, man, because there are so many championship caliber teams that didn't win championships because they were getting beat by the Bulls.
You also got to shout out, and so this, when I first heard this, until I really thought about it, I was going to go 90's Sonics, but what stopped me, they were not really unforgotten. Remember those Bulls versus Sonics, Bulls versus Blazers game? Yeah. They were known, but Kemp never got his ring.
You know who got way too much love off those Sonics teams was Frank Burkowski. He got paid after that.
Too much love?
Too much love.
Yeah.
He got paid. Listen to this 93-94 Knicks roster. Greg Anthony, Rolando Blackman, Anthony Bonner, Hubert Davis, Patrick Ewing, Derek Harper, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Doc Rivers, Charles Smith, John Starks, and Herb Williams.
Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley. Wow.
That's a tough team.
That's a tough-ass team. Yes, John Starks, Herb Williams. Yeah, those dudes today. My God. Draymond would be in a bind.
Yeah.
Better stable, the Horsemen, DX, or the Core NWO. This is from Big from Golden Meadow.
So can we get a clarification? What is Core NWO?
I would say like the first 6 months of it before we started like NWO Red and NWO.
So outsiders with Hogan. And are we going to count?
Maybe
6?
a few more. Yeah, like 6, DiBiase, maybe a few more.
This is so tough for me. What's our options?
Horseman, DX, Core, NWO.
I was never a big Horseman fan. I'll just get that out the way. I wasn't a Flair fan. I do respect him and like him a lot more now. Had I been alive in the 70s and early 80s when he was doing his limousine ride and jet flying, yes, I probably would have loved him. But I didn't like old Flair. I'm just going to go for the sake of Hogan being in it, NWO. That heel turn was just amazing. Still to this day, I mean, I got a BCB NWO logo. It just hits.
You ready?
Oh, I agree.
And look, can I give my hot take of the day, sponsored by our guys at Martin's AC and Electric? This is my hot take. DX was kind of overrated. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, I agree.
They're just kind of like, they're just making juvenile jokes. The two best ones, or the two most entertaining ones, were the sideshow, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Yep.
Triple H was starting to date the boss's daughter, so that's why he was getting pushed.
The crock was cooking and all that. That was some good work.
Yeah, look, they had some really good moments.
Yeah, but they're not the best ever.
They're not better than the Horsemen, and they're not better than NWO.
Right, and that's what I mean by overrated. Of course, yeah, like they're better than the Oddities. Yeah, sure, but they're not the best of all time.
In the same sentence as the Oddities?
Can we see Golga in a DX mode? With Chat GPT.
I was going to say, y'all are the AI folks. Y'all might have to work on that one. How close are we to NFL expansion, and what country or countries will be rewarded with the next teams? I don't have
That's a two-part question.
Okay. And this is also from Marcus. Long term, do we see the sport becoming truly international with the Super Bowl turning into a U.S. champion versus the international champion, similar to how it evolved from the NFL champion versus the AFL champion? Marcus, let me say this. I absolutely hate the games that are in Europe. I absolutely hate the games that are in France or wherever, Brazil, whatever. We even saw a situation where Jordan Love got hurt this year in a game in Brazil because the field was substandard. I hope the answer to this is never. I will be willing to say that it's probably going to happen within the next 15, 20 years. But I don't think it's going to ever get so far as the American champion versus, I don't think it's going to get that far. But to say that there might be a team in like Britain or something someday, I could see that happening. Sure.
So I'm going to disagree with that only because I don't think the players' union will allow that to happen.
That's
There's so many gripes.
That's a good point.
With the NFL players right now having to go there and shorten their week from the week before, shorten their week from the week after, just to get acclimated to the time change. I'm not a fan of those games either. I don't see that happening just because players are crybabies.
So I think I'm going to agree with Casey on this one. Long term, it's never going to be international champion because similar to soccer, if we haven't gotten there in soccer, Americans cannot compete with Europeans or Brazilians and Argentinians in soccer. No other country will ever produce enough players to probably even field one team, much less a league to have a champion.
Yeah.
Now, B, we are eerily close to the Jaguars part-timing in England with Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Like, that's going to be a thing sooner than later. I don't know if it's going to be full-fledged England Jaguars. I think we're probably less than a decade away, maybe even less than 5 years away from the Jaguars playing half their damn season overseas.
Another reason to hate Tony Khan. Big from Golden Meadow wants to know your thoughts on the Survivor Series gobbledygooker, and should we see a return in the future? No. I don't want to see the gobbledygooker.
We just got him. It was Travis Scott. He's this year's version of the gobbledygooker. He does nothing. He looks like a cartoon character. He can't even barely walk. He just stood there. Now, granted, he didn't sell his worst as Mongo, RIP, but he took the crossroads, and I just don't know. He was holding up the hardcore title. Is that even relevant anymore? It's just a 2025 woke version of the gobbledygookers.
That's something I didn't think we'd cover. And I'm going to say no on the Gooker. And my wrestling nerdism wants to tell this story. So that was supposed to be like a serious thing. So apparently anything that comes out of a box or an egg's over, from what the wrestling podcast tell me. So that was supposed to be one of the Guerreros.
Oh, okay. I thought it was supposed to be Ric Flair. All right.
And then obviously that turned into a live turkey.
Wow. You go from a Guerrero to a live mascot turkey. Who is your go-to NBA Jam duo? This is from Murda from Galliano.
Arcade version?
Pizza Hut version.
Pizza Hut version?
Shaq and Scott Skiles, just because it was the only time you could play with Shaq.
And Scott Skiles could shoot the freaking lights out.
Yeah.
And as I grew up and evolved, you realized you needed a rebounder and you needed to go to the spot on either the very top or the very bottom and hit that corner three.
Corner three.
Now, if we're going console version, it's a toss-up. I'm either going Pinstripe Hornets with LJ and Alonzo Mourning or Deathlit Shrimp and Sean Kemp with the Sonics.
That's exactly where I was going. If we were going the home version, it's definitely the Sonics.
I remember I used to be the Pacers, Reggie Miller. And I would do Rick Schmidt sometimes, but they also had a shooter with Reggie Miller. Because my first thought was Detlef Schrempf, and then I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, no, that's the son. Detlef Schrempf played for Indiana, didn't he?
I believe he did.
I think Reggie Miller and Detlef Schrempf was my combination then. And, of course, at actual Pizza Hut, you got to play with Shaq because that's the only opportunity you had to.
Also, shout out to Creole Lanes. They had it.
So, on the arcade version, it was Reggie and Detlef Schrempf.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
And then on some of the console versions, you had Reggie and Derek McKee. And Reggie and Rick Smits, who's all-time GOAT.
I ain't gonna lie. I used to do some Ronnie Cycling Glenn Rice, too.
Now, Barkley and Dan Marley with the Suns, I think, was arcade only. That was probably my backup.
Hersey Hawkins and Jeff Hornacek were represented by the 76ers.
Literally
nobody played with the Bullets with Harvey Grant and Tom Gugliotta.
Tom Gugliotta and Harvey Brad Lohaus and Blue Edwards.
Ooh, that's the Bucks.
Hey, the Pistons were solid with Lancaster and
that's legit.
Isaiah.
Yes.
Mark Price, Brad Doherty.
Everybody played with the Jazz, too, because you had Stockton and Malone.
Oh, Dominique Wilkins and Stacey Augmon.
The Plastic Man.
D. Brown and Dominique Wilkins, that's some good combinations.
Didn't you have Ronnie Cycli and Harold Miner with the Heat?
Yeah,
that was on the Genesis version. Yeah. I know a guy that had relations with Stacey Augmon's wife and forced him to leave his wife.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe he wasn't the Plastic Man.
All right. Cameron from Lockport wants to know MLB Slugfest or NFL Blitz. I never played an MLB Slugfest. It sounds fun, but I'm an NFL Blitz guy.
Yeah, Blitz was solid.
Blitz.
Did y'all play that like NBA Street or whatever? Would y'all add that into there? Or do y'all think that was better than Blitz?
EB came up. He asked us to name our top five sports games, and he threw that in there. It was NBA Ballers and NBA Street that he mentioned.
Street was good for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a
good run.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I like the NFL Street more, but if we're just going with these two, I'm going NFL Blitz.
I don't know if I've ever played Slugfest.
What was y'all number one choice for top sports video game? 'Cause I got one. It's Tecmo Super Bowl Limited Edition, where you had like an off season and free agency. It's our first game to do that.
I mentioned Tecmo Super Bowl. We did our cult favorite from back in the day, NFL 95. That was the second year sports talk with Joe Montana on the Chiefs.
No one could stop Mel Gray and his returns. Nobody.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition was up there. We had Madden and NCAA because you want to pick the 2014 because that was like the decade spanning one because it went away, or do you pick the new one because it's probably the most improved? I mean,
I was a big Madden with Eddie George on the cover guy. I played the shit out of that one. The year that Michael Vick was incredible. That one kind of got annoying though because like he was just a cheat code.
Yep. Correct. NBA Live 96 was another notable game as well.
Yes,
first time they had announcers in the game.
For sure. Let's see. Favorite college basketball player of all time from T. Joe from Galliano. T. Joe, hope you're doing well, brother. My answer would be looking at the North Carolina side of it. It would be Antoine Jameson. Looking from the LSU side of it, it would be Tyrus Thomas. Boys, what say you?
This is it, Tyler Hansbrough, without a doubt. And if I can't go North Carolina, I can't pick between Jimmer and Adam Morrison right now. I can't figure out which one.
Jimmer and Adam Morrison. Did you see the Jimmer finally retire?
I did.
Saturday.
I saw his jersey wall, too. He's got the Pelicans in the middle. They pissed him away so bad.
Sticking with the North Carolina sweep, I'm going Eric Montrose as my GOAT of all time college basketball.
I was a big Sean May guy, too, and I was so disappointed that he wasn't a good pro. So I remember talking so much trash to everybody, like, this dude's going to rock the NBA, and then he just wasn't very good.
I tell you who I really like. I remember they used to do some random MAC days back in the day, and Gary Trent from Ohio was one of my favorite freaking players.
Not so much the junior.
Yeah, you're right. Y'all ready to start a traca here? 90's COIC versus Golden Meadow Biddy. This is from Denny from Lafayette. My answer would be neither, because Galliano Biddy would kick all of y'all's asses. So
we got a dual player over here.
I'm fairly certain that Diddy from Lafayette also played Galliano Biddy.
He did.
I will wear my Galliano Biddy jacket next time that I'm here.
Before I answer this question, can we just go out on a limb and admit that Galliano Biddy was overrated?
No, I'm not admitting that.
The only reason it was relevant is because Rosh West was an American, and they paid for everybody to go there.
Wait, what?
They recruited.
So this was before me. So that was a thing. Like they really like.
Oh, I don't know if they did or not, but I know he was an All-American, and I think Corey LeBlanc was an All-American. But
they won nationals back when nationals was like a big time event.
Because they had Rosh West. I mean, he's the
but
god
he's
of
from here.
He's the god of South Lafourche basketball. That actually Lafourche basketball.
Yeah.
Now, as Damien mentioned, I'm in the unique position here because I played at both of these.
Tommy was the first Biddy NIL.
I was the first portal because we moved.
According to Ken Ramsey, you were being recruited by Duke at one time too.
No. That was us.
True story.
I know that now.
The reason that happened is because they didn't allow me to make All-Stars because I got too many technicals. So that made me peace out from.
So where did you get too many technicals? In cutoff? And then you went to Golden Medal?
I played cutoff from itty bitty all the way to my 11-year-old year.
So I too was in that same situation with too many technicals, and I took my lick and stayed where I was supposed to stay.
Not me.
Two Draymond Greens over here, man. What's going on? I never got a technical at all.
Well, half of them came from Nick's sister, who was also my coach, and then the other half came from T-Phil, but we patched our ways when we were cooking for the fair. So I don't know exactly which one was better. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. So never in my life, in my Biddy basketball career in the 90s, did we lose to cutoff. Clean sweep, golden medal.
So, okay, thinking back to at All-Stars,
cutoff was like the rag doll. Like, no, everybody beat him.
When I was a player, cutoff was okay. So it was Galliano, Golden Medal, and LaRose were all kind of tick for tat and competitive, and cutoff was kind of the one that everyone would kind of beat up on. Now that's just my years. I don't know what happened before or after.
I distinctly remember beating Galliano and Golden Medal and Biddy when we were there. Before we lost Dustin Dufresne. Another recruiting violation back in the day. I will say this: I had more fun playing my last year at Golden Medal.
All right, so let's ask this: well, in Golden Medal Biddy, they used to play at the junior high.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's a better place to play a Biddy basketball game, the youth center or the junior high? To me, this one's an easy one. I've coached and I've played in both.
I think the youth center.
I agree.
I love playing at Golden Medal. There's nothing like it. Cutoff's great as well. But when you have those fans and you face-to-face, everything's louder, everything's more intense. At cutoff, you got folks upstairs. You can't really hear them. And some of that chatter gets me locked into the game.
It was just more room to roam and do activities at cutoff. But
this is 7-year-old me. Having the bleachers elevated, like, that's big. Like, hey, man, like, I'm in a freaking arena.
Yeah, but did y'all have pizza pockets? Homemade pizza pockets?
No, we had full-fledged hamburgers and stuff.
You'll have the same thing we have now.
Galliano, we had beignets. I remember eating beignets.
Think of it this way. Cutoff's so awesome. Y'all have y'all Biddy there now.
I'm not disagreeing. He asked where I'd rather play. I'd rather play at Golden Medal.
The gym makes more sense. Now, I do remember back when we played Biddy, they had those weird long iron extensions under the basketball goal by the stage. Those were like a hazard.
Yeah.
And then we played 13 and 14 one year, and like,
that's what inspired you to be a lawyer?
I get you like head-butted the padding on the wall and had to go get stitched.
So, okay, Golden Medal won a national championship, correct?
I believe so.
I don't know that cutoff bid he ever did, right? I mean, looking at the banners, it's all South Lafourche biddy banners and stuff in there.
I believe the girls won nationals with Lauren Kale.
Okay.
Dickie Kale, I believe was their coach.
That very well could be the case. Yeah.
I know Denny Paul wants to hear this. COYC, COYC. Greatest chant ever.
We got old Mott in here from Midland. Jambalaya or pastalaya, sparing no expense. What does that part mean?
Story time.
Yeah, Mott decided that one of our fishing trips in Grand Out, he was going to cook a jambalaya. Jambalaya is known for being one of the least expensive dishes, which is why it's so popular.
100%.
Mott, on a one-pot jambalaya, spent over $200.
What did he put in it? $100 bills?
Caviar, apparently.
And we didn't find this out until we're like, oh, Mott, we got the beer and we're cooking it and we're staying at a camp in Grand Isle and we got the beer and the drinks or whatever. How much we for the jambalaya? He's like, oh, just Venmo me each of $50. We're like, what? There's 4 of us. And this was by no means a
gourmet.
Well, not even that, but we're not feeding a fare. Like, we're not cooking
right.
Like whatever.
How do you make it cost $200? I don't understand.
I guess this dude got rice straight from China. I have no idea. But
the answer to the question, by the way, is jambalaya, not pastalaya. But I'm still taken back by the $200 jambalaya.
I've had too many dry jambalayas. I'm going pastalaya.
Brown or red? Red's terrible. I don't like
always
it.
brown.
Yeah,
red is always brown.
Red is
okay. We agree there. If the answer is red jambalaya or pastalaya, I'm going pastalaya all day. But a good, and you're right, there are some bad jambalayas. A good brown chicken and sausage jambalaya is better than a good pastalaya.
I'm with you on that 100%. If there's 2 bowls in front of me that I have not tried and I don't know the cook, I'm probably going to take the pastalaya just because I rather noodle than
the margin
rice.
For error is
but
yeah.
A good rice jambalaya.
I'm also partial to my dad's pastalaya. So 9 times out of 10, he uses bow tie pasta a lot, which I'm a huge fan of. So
my brother actually makes the heck out of a jambalaya.
Give me a Blake Badeaux pastalaya. I'm in.
Well, that's the recipe that I'm judging.
He had his thumb right on Blake's back the entire time, but he didn't want to do anything. He just wanted to tell him what to do.
So is my dad the Rock of pastalaya cooking?
he showed up about the same.
I know this is a loaded question, but I know the backstory behind it. What's the longest Uber ride you've ever taken? This is from Mott from Midland. Hey, 5 miles. Yours probably about the same. Yeah. What's yours, Tommy? Just hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Do you have a Uber story that you would like to share? I know you do.
Yeah.
Like to share or is forced to share?
So if anybody wants to do the math, hold on. Let me see how far it is from Floribama to River Ridge. Because that is where I took an Uber from, probably going on 7 years ago. Basically, long story short, we went to Molotov. Drunken debauchery ensued. We have a group of about 10 dudes all go out, and 8 of us all get back. I'm sorry, 9 of us all hop in a cab, and we're heading back to the room. And one of the guys who was with us felt he called all of us. And for whatever reason, I'm the only one who answered. And he started to yell at me to turn around and come get him. And of course, I'm being drunken me, which us at this table know how that goes. And I told him some choice words, but he was the one with the room. So he comes back and wants to fight with only me because it's my fault. We didn't turn around and get him and yada, yada. Pushing and shoving ensued. One of my friends tears his leg open on a glass table. And me and my newly appointed lawyer status said, screw this. I don't need this. I could afford to go home on my own. And $423 later, I arrive in River Ridge to my pregnant wife being like, what the hell are you doing here? I thought you were in Florida. And my answer was, well, 3 hours ago I was. And
so dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. I would have thought that would have been more. So 400 some bucks. That's what it cost.
Yes. But keynote to that is we had a verbal agreement that I was going to pay him $200 in cash as well as his gas and tolls. What he did was, it's actually a trick that Uber drivers used to do. He stopped the fare and surge rated me right after takeoff. So the fare doubled. So I didn't know what the price was until I got home the next morning. Complained to Uber. They looked into it, agreed it was right. And I got the whole ride for $57.
Wow. Look at you, Mr. Lawyer.
So
okay.
Case in point, don't try to screw me over when I'm drunk in an Uber because I will find you and I have a special set of skills.
There is no better time to mess with Tommy than when he's mad drunk. That is the best time, and you could get more than $57 out of him.
I'm just looking at where this next person's from, and I know that this is a troll. Is it possible for a guy that's in jiu-jitsu to kill an anaconda with his bare hands, cage match to death type of deal. This is from Devin from Chad, Africa. There's no way this is someone from Africa.
I'm telling you that we've had a lot of folks in our inbox asking us to be podcast guests and whatnot. I don't think any of them are actually real, but all
we got to do to appear is to give them our social security number and debit card information.
Yeah.
ASL.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't kill an anaconda. Okay, so let me preface this question before you guys answer. So I looked up smallest anaconda, and it is 9 feet.
Yeah, you could strangle a 9-foot snake bare hand if you do. I don't know about the jiu-jitsu part. I don't know what angle we're going at there.
Did Jennifer Lopez do that in a movie?
You see some anacondas that are like eating large animals and like strangling crocodiles and stuff. But 9 foot, that's, yeah.
I can't attest to any jiu-jitsu skill, so I'm just gonna say no. I don't mess with nature. Is what I've.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Shaquille O'Neal with a baseball bat or an anaconda?
I think Shaq's scared of snakes.
Wait, would I rather fight Shaquille O'Neal with a baseball bat or fight an anaconda? Try to choke out an anaconda.
Oh, that's going to be another layer to it.
But I don't have jiu-jitsu experience, so.
But where is an anaconda's neck?
I think it starts post teeth and ends pre-tail. So the whole thing's the neck.
Did y'all see Shaq almost crap his pants the other night?
I thought he did.
Yeah, no. He may have.
Enlighten me.
Yeah. Shaq in the middle of Inside the NBA just like runs off the stage.
Yeah, Ernie's like, hey, we're still even. Keep on talking, Ern.
Yeah. I mean, he either shat himself or almost.
They were implying that shat was coming because they were like, yeah, once you hit 50, it just comes out.
And I'm knocking on wood as I say this. I've never had a live radio experience like that before. I know JR tells the story that he wears black pants because he pisses himself live during the pay-per-views. So if you see JR after a show, like, probably don't go close to him. He's probably filled with his own bodily fluids. But I've never had an experience like that, thankfully.
Yeah. I'm the elder of the group, and I have not experienced that yet. So I can tell you,
able to hold your bowels.
41, you're still pretty solid.
Yeah. This next one's from John, and this is relevant because he passed away today, unfortunately. Steve Mungo McMichael will be taken off a ventilator and transferred to hospice. Great two-sport player. What's your all-time played two-sport players? Love you, Mongo, from John. It's got to be Dion, right? I mean, he played in a freaking NFL game and an MLB game in the same day.
If your answer to this is not Dion or Bo Jackson, I don't think we should associate.
I was going with Bo Jackson just to not give Dion any credit or any love.
I would be a little remiss if we didn't give Jim Thorpe a little credit.
Yeah.
I do recall him being a world-class track athlete as well as a football player. And since we gave Jackie Joyner-Kersee flowers for being on the Mount Rushmore as a track and field athlete, let's just give Jim Thorpe some credit.
Also, shout out to a guy that I rooted for a lot. I was a big Florida State fan as a kid because they did the tomahawk chop.
Yep.
And South Lafourche did. So I was like, hey, that's cool. We both did. Charlie Ward was a Heisman and then an NBA player.
I think he recently just became a college basketball coach.
100%. So Charlie Ward's, yeah, but to me, I mean, look, Dion, like I said, played in an NFL game at noon, then played with the Braves at night. I mean, he played two professional sports in the same freaking day.
And then had a terrible son.
Didn't Brian Jordan play?
Brian Jordan, yeah, he did both.
And Danny Ainge, though I don't think he made a professional at bat. I believe he played baseball before he went to the Celtics.
With Kyler Murray, they wanted him to stick to baseball. Maybe after watching this,
and Russell Wilson
maybe should have
played spring. What's the next question?
Well, I'm out of these, but I do have one that was sent to me, and I don't remember who sent it to me, so I apologize in advance. Do you guys believe in life in other planets?
Well, I believe in Elon, so
we
yes.
need Nick here.
Nick's our conspiracy theorist. He, I'm sure, would tell us exactly where they are, exactly what their names are. Are you like a Martian alien guy?
No.
No? Really? Damien?
I'm in the middle here. So do I believe in other life forms? I feel like if there's a movie about it, there's some sort of idea behind it. So I'm going to go like a 60% yes on that. Not fully sold, but not fully detached from that idea.
So here's the thing. From a religious perspective, and I'm not going to be preaching here, I'm not brother love. If they tell me that every star in the sky is a sun, it's hard not to think that there would be another Earth that could just, screw it off around somewhere and another Earth formed. I fully believe that there is life elsewhere in the universe, but I don't think it's in our solar system. So, I don't think there's, Martians out there. I don't think that there's aliens that live on Jupiter or whatever. I don't think there's anything like that. But I do think that being the universe is infinite, there's life out there somewhere. I think it'd be arrogant of us to assume that we're the only ones.
I think there's too much land on other planets that we just will never be able to get to.
Right. Dude, like I said, every star is a sun. Who's to say there's not a little rock next to one of those suns that's another Earth? Right. And then there's some little making a podcast talking about that somewhere else.
Talking about us.
What was going on in the chat?
People were saying Air Dog was a stud on NBA Jam. Or you could type in ARK plays Bill Clinton. Remember that?
Yep.
What? I never knew that one.
I knew that. Them and Normal, all the creators, Sal DeVita, all them. Nick says the Hawks was my team. Another NBA Jam.
The Hawks?
I'm assuming. So this is straight to the Biddy conversation. Lance Reynolds also played a Galliano Biddy. Got to throw that up there. LaRose got some ships during those 90s, just saying. Well, nobody cares, Cody, because they weren't in the question.
We weren't talking about LaRose.
Nobody talks. They're like the evil empire. They're the Yankees. Nobody cares. COYC never won. Well, that was from Nick. So there we go. Nailed it.
The one guy that would have talked positive about him.
And then lastly, shockingly, Nick, we are alone. Planets are fake. Flat Earth. Firmament.
Whoa, Nick, you think the Earth is flat?
So Nick is a Duke fan because he likes to agree with Kyrie.
Look, DTB is the official Bayou Sports clothing sponsor. I got to talk to Rosselli's or something. We gotta get another one. If Nick's a flat earther, we got to get another one. Rosselli's.
Shout out Rosselli's.
I got to go to Rosselli. I was about ready to list one that's actually still in existence. I was like, hey, that's actually going to hurt Nick's business. Let's not do that. Rosselli's got to get on the Bayou Sports train. We're not a flat earth. What is he talking about?
I don't know, but I'm going to shop at Contenders now.
Shout out to my godson, Jackson. He may very well be watching right now. He wanted us to know, and I asked him the question. He wanted us to, were y'all Mario or Sonic kids? He's a huge video gamer. Were y'all Mario or Sonic kids growing up?
Mario.
He's both.
I'm a Mario guy.
It's a me.
I'm both, but I will say this: once Sega came out, I never had a Nintendo product again.
Really? So you were a Sega guy?
I was a Sega guy, PlayStation. I was never a Nintendo and Xbox.
So let me ask you this: as the father of young children, if the children are excited about seeing the Mario or Sonic movie, which one would Daddy Badeaux be most excited about watching? Because they do have both.
It's so tough because now Sonic is on Nintendo. So
it's all the same now.
My middle kid is both. Like he alternates. His school bag is Mario, but all his pajamas and his cups are Sonic's. I was pumped for the Mario movie. That was great. But watching the Sonic movies, they are more adult themed, it seems. So
I think that's fair.
I'm wanting to see what they do because they did set up Mario to have a sequel. But I tell you what I am pumped about. So I guess this would answer the question. I am pumped about going to Super Mario World in Universal.
Look, dude.
My wife is pissed. It just opened like a month ago, and she's mad that we were not the first people there.
Bro, as a godfather to an autistic godson who loves him some Mario, I'm going to cry when I see his eyes get big and bright when he sees that. That's going to be amazing. And all the reviews and all the pictures and everything, like, it looks like it's awesome. So I'm with you. I think that's going to be awesome.
It looks really cool.
You were a Mario guy?
I was a Mario guy from day one. When Mario 1 came out with Duck Hunt, I was glued to the set.
We shot the dog, right?
Oh, yeah. You had to.
Everybody shot the dog.
So I was watching a video, I think it was last week, and there was a rumor that what the quote you just said, "It's a me Mario," was actually a Japanese saying, "It's a me Mario," meaning Super Mario.
Oh.
But apparently that has been null and voided.
We are out of time. The midnight hour is here. For Tommy Badeaux to my right, for Damien St. Pierre to my left, this is Casey Gisclair signing off. So adios, y'all. Take care.
When the unexpected happens, who's standing in your corner? Down the bayou, one name stands above the rest. The law office of Tommy Badeaux. Tommy doesn't just represent clients. He fights for neighbors and community members when they need it most. With a commitment to personalized service and professional excellence, we understand what matters to you. Injured in an accident? You deserve representation that treats you like family, not just another case number. Better call Badeaux. Discover more about the law office of Tommy Badeaux at bodolaw.com.